Hi, I'm Sophia, and this is part 2 of my review of Baby Reindeer.
This is a morally gray show, and I'm having to weigh in on who the bad guy is. I think Donny and Martha have a co-abusive relationship and leave wreckage in their wake. I think Donny screws the women in his life over, but is also the victim of S.A. and the victim of Martha later in life. But I think he messes with Martha's mind, lies to Teri, and plays Martha and Teri against each other, and is a total cad. So I don't think of Donny as a hero or Martha as a villain. I think of them both as villains. 5 years ago in Edinburgh, Donny looks for work. He goes to a dive bar and he bombs. Donny meets Darrien, the writer from Cottonmouth and his future rapist. Donny is hot, which makes things complicated. It's easy to make such a character so unattractive that the audience is repelled by them at one glance, but Darrien, his wise, tired eyes and weathered smile lure you in. He and Teri are the most attractive characters on the show. Darrien turns Donny's act into a hit. Big crowds cheering his name. Darrien takes Donny out for a drink at a private members bar every night, tells him he needs to get his scripts ready, gives him a line of coke. Darrien takes off and Donny misses him, and the success he promised in his life. In acting class, he receives a call from Darrien, as Keeley tells him to get back to class. Cut to Donny at Darrien's apartment. It's a bougie drug den, the type of home filled with enough knickknacks to walk a fine line between spiritual upper-class white guy and cultural appropriator. Darrien pans Donny's script about a lawyer who becomes a pro wrestler and then struggles to maintain a work-life balance between his profession and his passion. Darrien tells Donny to stick with him and do whatever he says and he'll go places. This guy hits a 9.5 on the Weinstein meter. As Donny passes out, things get real non-consensual real quick, and I will skim over this part of the show. Look, Donny went there to get drugged and sexually assaulted after he passed out over and over again, knowing it would happen time and again. He never told his girlfriend he cheated on her. Can being violated count as cheating? The first time, no. The fifth time after you keep coming back for more, yes. Donny starts having casual sex and does everything under the sun with men, women, and possibly non-binary folks as well. It is done in a montage, so the details are unclear. He wants to feel like it happened so many times it never happened at all. His logic is flawed at best, but he says he's running from the thought that Darrien never saw any talent in him, and he was just using him as a hot young piece of ass to parade around the country club and then have his way with. Then in the timeline he meets Teri, but he's sort of feeling like loving a trans woman makes him gay, and is afraid that Darrien groomed him and made him gay. Present day, Martha is back at it, stalking, shouting at Donny that he's a hunchback because he stooped so low with Teri. This woman is so insecure. Find another man already. But then we wouldn't have a show now, would we? Martha throws Diet Coke in Keeley's face. Donny is told to get her to stay away, but he sort of has her back and refuses to stand up to her in order to protect the other women in his life. The same cad-like behavior that allows the whole twisted story to unfold. He gets kicked out of Liz's home and moves in with a couple of fellow former drama school students. The home is nice, big and upper class, but the parties are wild, loud, and over the top. They're gonna party all night every night while Donny tries to sleep through the perpetual EDM concert that is now his life. Teri and Donny are having a romantic dinner. They have what Donny calls a closed-door relationship in Teri's home. Donny tells Teri maybe he's bi. Yeah, no shit. Donny can't get it up. Teri says he can't shake off his prejudice. He says his body is just not letting him. Toys exist, you two. They're always more reliable. Teri falls out of love over Donny's erectile dysfunction, which I think is unfair, but it is what it is. Look at my hair, Donny. Look at the state of it, she says. She says she feels like Donny's body is manifesting all the mean things Martha said about Teri that night. Teri says she knows that Donny didn't say shit to that police officer about the time Martha attacked her. She says Martha told her she looked like a man, and asks him if she knows what that's like for her. And then he tries to comfort her. She tells him he has always treated her like a man. It's true. At least it's essentially true. The police tell Donny that Martha once stalked a policeman. She says that Martha is a very serious woman. Once the police are involved, Martha goes quiet, radio silent. She makes like a library book and checks out. She presses mute on her remote control and she doesn't even bother to put on the subtitles. She goes to a Tibetan monastery and takes a vow of silence. She puts a ball gag in her mouth and doesn't even moan. She rolls an nat 20 in her stealth check. She solid snakes it into a cardboard box. Donny starts jacking off at a picture of Martha, and by fantasizing about screwing Martha, he's able to get it up enough to screw Teri. He's been screwing Martha and Teri over the whole runtime. It's about time he screwed one of them for real. Teri does a Martha impression, and it is spot on. She sounds exactly like Shrek. Martha pranks Donny's parents, and Donny's dad, Jerry, starts feuding with Martha. They are talking so much smack to each other, it's enough to make me wonder if the family's name is Springer. Like Jerry Springer? The cops are slow to react because all cops are bastards. Donny tries to get Martha to leave him an unhinged email, but it turns out Martha has been recording everything the whole time since they met. She's a former lawyer, and this is not her first stalking rodeo. Now, in the eyes of the police, they are two toxic people who need each other's toxic attention like it's oxygen, and they are on even footing. They are both no longer considered victims in all of this. Teri is worried about being cyberbullied by Martha. Donny tells her to take down her socials for a while, or at least take down all the rainbow unicorn stuff. Teri says Martha is mentally ill and he has indulged her. Teri tells Donny she thinks he loves it, loves having Martha in his life, that she's the embodiment of all his nasty repressions bottled into one human being. She drops that zero. Does she get herself a hero? Are all these 90s daytime references going over those Gen Zers watching right now? Unclear. The show stars Donny, and that's exactly who the camera will continue to follow. Martha is back in the bar and will not leave. She starts roasting him. They dox each other a bit to the guy at the bar. He drops the bully's barrister's deaf daughter bombshell, and Martha is pissed. Her past has come back to haunt her. She breaks a glass over his head and he punches her in the face. As I started, a joke plays, Donny walks it off. Donny goes on stage at the finals and tells his Me Too story. Then his career takes off afterwards. The scene is long and uncomfortable like an oversized wool sweater. Isn't getting groomed magical before you realize you're getting groomed? He says he realizes that after the 4th or 5th time he came back, it started to be his own fault. Not that Darrien isn't an R to the A to the pissed. Then he doxes Martha for her abuse, leaving out the part where he put Teri, Liz, and Keeley and the rest in a line of fire during his and Martha's duet cover of Love is a Battlefield. He says he just couldn't love Teri, the most beautiful person he'd ever met. As Donny sells out packed rooms and his career takes off, Martha gets his number and she is pissed. Martha's always pissed, but right now she is livid. He comes out as bi or gay to his parents and tells them about Martha, Darrien, and Teri, spilling all the beans. He is Kevin Malone with the potted chili with all these beans he's spilling. His dad said he was molested as a child as well, and that he grew up at the Catholic Church. After bonding with his parents, he spends time listening to Martha's voice messages. Studying them, he ignores work calls, cancels gigs and interviews only to study her, bonding with her yet again. Martha is sentenced to prison time, and Donny is invited to live at Liz's home again by Keeley. The sound of Martha's voice, recorded from the answering machine messages, soothes Donny. The way Martha has always soothed him when he was upset by thoughts of Darrien. Martha explains why she calls Donny her baby reindeer. As a child, she had a stuffed baby reindeer. She loved it. Donny looks just like it did. Just like that stuffed baby reindeer meant so much to her, Donny means so much to her. Farewell, Farewell plays over the end credits.